Internal Quality Assurance Cell of Sheshadripuram Institute of Commerce and Management has organized 7 days virtual NAAC criteria-based virtual international level faculty development program from 25th August to 31st August 2021. Today is the third day of the virtual international faculty development program. In this session, we have a great and eminent personality, Professor Dr. Chinnaya Anbalagan sir, as a resource person. And the session is also presided over by W.D. Ashok sir, Honorary Trustee, Sheshadripuram Educational Trust. And the topic for the day is implementation of policy at higher educational institutions, an effort to transform an idea into practice. Now, I request our beloved principal, Professor Vidya Shivananavar ma'am, to welcome the resource person and the gathering for today's session.
Thank you so much, sir. Good noon to all of you. We have stepped into third day of NAAC criteria-based virtual 7 days faculty development program. And the topic for today is implementation of policy at higher education institutions, an effort to transform an idea into practice. It's always seen that the success of any policy or a rule lies or depends upon how best it is implemented. The way best we implement a policy, it will give us more fruitful results. Today, we have with us a resource person for the day, Dr. Professor Chinnaya Anbalagan sir, Professor of Accounting and Finance, Research Advisor, College of Business and Economics, Samara University, Senate Member of Samara University, Afar State, Ethiopia, East Africa. Sir, on behalf of Sheshadripuram Educational Trust and Sheshadripuram Institute of Commerce and Management, I extend a warm welcome to you to this session. Welcome, sir. I welcome the members of Drishti Forum, Faculty Development Forum of the college, Kirit Kumar Yadav sir, Shilpa ma'am, and Suresha B sir. Welcome, sir. Welcome, ma'am. I welcome our IPSC coordinator, Amar H.A. sir, to this session. Welcome, sir. I extend a warm welcome to all the participants who have joined us today on this occasion of third session of this particular 7 days FTP program. Welcome to one and all. Over to you, Shivakumar sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am. On behalf of Drishti, the Faculty Development Forum of Sheshadripuram Institute of Commerce and Management, and the gathering, I would like to welcome our beloved principal, Professor Vidya Shivananavar ma'am, for today's session. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
A well-defined and futuristic education policy is a must for every country, as it is the key driver of the overall progress. Education policies at the higher education is a purposeful and multi-directional change process aiming to put specific policy into practice, which affects the whole education system. It has two aspects, theoretical as well as its practical application. Implementation of the education policies is a complex evolving process that requires a coordination from various stakeholders. Taking the present scenario of national education policy and the process of its execution makes us understand it is not an easy walk. There needs to be a strategic, concrete measure to ensure that implementation of core values of the policies are achieved at its practicality. The policies are impressive, which aims at a model of holistic learning. The challenge lies in its implementation. Today, we have with us an eminent speaker, Professor Dr. Chinnaya Anbalagan sir, resource person of today's session, to share his valuable thought and knowledge to educate all of us on the topic, implementation of policy at higher educational institutions, an effort to transform an idea into practice. Now, it's a great time to know more about our today's resource person, Professor Dr. Chinnaya Anbalagan sir. Sir is qualified with MCOM, B.Ed, M.Ed, PhD in Finance from Annamalai University and MBA from Periyar University, Tamil Nadu. Sir has more than 18 years of academic, more than 15 years of research, and also more than 3 years of industrial experience. To give a glimpse of his ability as a research guide, Sir has produced and guided 38 MPhil scholars, presently guiding 6 scholars under PhD program. So far, Sir has guided more than 200 students of MBA program and 75 students of masters in marketing management for doing projects. And Sir has 10 universities for guideship approval. Sir has presented and published around 112 articles in total at both national and international level conferences and journals. Sir has also written and published 5 textbooks already, and 3 are under publication process. Sir is a teacher trainer of B.Ed and M.Ed programs and has trained around 215 teachers in total. Sir is also a member of Board of Studies in KL University, Andhra Pradesh, India. Sir is an editor-in-chief for 19 international journals, editorial board member for 13 international journals, and editorial review board member for Global Impact Factor Organization, Australia. Sir is an external foreign examiner of PhD program for various universities in India. Sir has conferred with the prestigious awards such as Best Social Scientist Award 2017 and Outstanding Academician Award 2020 by Indian Academic Researchers Association and Best Faculty Award 2020 by Pondicherry Academic Researcher Academy. Sir is also recommended for the awards Rashtriya Gaurav Award and Best Citizens of India Award 2008-9. Professor Dr. Chinnaya Anbalagan sir, presently working as a professor of accounting and finance, research advisor, College of Business and Economics, Samara University, Senate member, Samara City, Afar State, Ethiopia, East Africa. Once again, a warm welcome to you, sir. Really, it's a great opportunity for all of us to listen to your words and guidance. We are eagerly waiting for your words, sir.
Okay, sir.
Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. We have our president for the program, Ashok sir, who have joined us today. He has joined late and he has joined us now. I would just like to take 2 minutes of yours to introduce him and welcome him, sir.
Yes.
Sri W.D. Ashok, Trustee, Sheshadripuram Educational Trust. He is the chairman of a Betterment Committee of Sheshadripuram High School, Yelahanka. He holds a master's degree in pharmacy, specializing in the field of total parental nutrition. He has served at famous Aladdin Hospital, Kuwait, as a pharmacist for over 13 years. He takes keen interest in development of all the Sheshadripuram group of institution colleges. Sir, I welcome you and request you to preside over today's program. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
I now request Professor Dr. Chinnaya Anbalagan sir to take over the session.
Okay. Thank you.
Sir, over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Really, today I am very happy to see all the people in this platform. It's a wonderful discussion which will be happening in this platform. Really, I will respect to the Trustee Faculty Development Forum of the Seshadri Institute of Commerce and Management, and which will be conducting this wonderful webinar association with IQAC based on the NAC criteria based international level faculty development program. Actually, last 2 days I have been joined with us, our program. It was very nice and wonderful organization and organized by our team members. And respected our principal, Professor Vidya Sivanana, Principal of Seshadri Institute of Commerce and Management, Professor Dilip Kumar, Convener, there is the forum, and Assistant Professor Silpa, Co-Convener, and Assistant Professor Suresh, Co-Convener, there is the forum, and Associate Professor Amar, IQAC, the coordinator, and other team members of the Seshadri from Institute of Commerce and Management, and the managing trustee and administrators of our Seshadri from Institute of Commerce and Management, and all the participants who have been connected in this webinar. Good afternoon to everyone. And really, I'm very happy to see all the people in this platform. First 2 days, very actively participating, all of us. And especially I would like to thank for Assistant Professor Shilpa, who has been very confidently and continuously discussing with me and communicating very frequently for successful of our this kind of the wonderful webinar at the international level. Really, I'm appreciating her and her team member, as well as the principal who has given the wonderful freedom for her to arrange such kind of the wonderful webinar. And first 2 days, the different subjects have been discussed in this platform. And today, what we are going to discuss on this platform and implementation of policy in educational institutions. As we know that the policies are in different model. As a professors, as a teachers, as an industrialist, different policy makers should know that the different activities of the different institutions and which will be made by for active and exposing statement and which will be related with the concerned activities. For take for example, if it is even education or the industries or whatever it may be. So what we are meaning about that policy, which will be generated, the general statements and that which will be guided in the decision making. A policy refers, as we know, that a continuing decision making or a decision on the concern and which will be applied to the repetitive situations which are related with the concerned activities or concerned item and which will be participated in the concerned policy or subordinating which are related with the concerned decision making. The policies may be in the different forms which will be a written statement or the just the oral understanding based which will be adjusted or accepted or deliberately system which will be helpful for the different guidelines for the decision making to achieve the rational outcomes. So when you go for the outcomes, such kind of the outcomes, whether it is effective or not, that outcome and how it will give the impact which are related with the concerned activities, action, whether it is which will be focused with the concerned activities, and what are the steps which will be related with the policy making. So when you are going to prepare any policy statement based on that concerned state or concerned country and how it will be the steps. So first we have to find out what is the problem, emergency which are related with the concerned activities or industries or education or agriculture or other activities. So what is the problem? So why it is needed? And we have to prepare the set up the agenda. So what are the requirements? And we have to consider up the policy options. What are the different options which are related with the concerned items or statement or activities? And how we may go for the decision making and which based we may go for the decision making without affecting others or the government or the concerned institutions or industries. So how we may go for the implementations and evaluation of the concerned activities and which will be conceptualized for the sequential part of the different stages and which will be helpful for the promoting the concerned institutions. And the different types of the policies, as we know that maybe organizational based policies, functional based policies, and originated policies, appealed policies, imposed policies, general policies, specific policies which are related to the concern, written policies, implied policies, major kinds of the major policies, supportive policies, the minor policies, and composite policies which are related with the concern activities. We should have the different kinds of the policies. So when you're going to think about that and which one is very suitable for us and how we can improve our concern project or product which are related with the concerned activities. If you go for, take for example, the HR policies in India. So how the HR policies and what are the different parts of the HR policies which are related to the employment contract, so code of conduct, employee wages, gratuity policy, employee provident fund, a leave policy, sexual harassment in the workplace policy, so maternity and maternity leave policy, terminations of the employment policy, adaptive work culture policy, communications of the policy, non-discriminations of the policy, dress code of the policy, probations and conformity of the policy, work from the home policy, the different grievance policies, different award and recognition policies, the travel policies, performance related, management, administration, appraisal, evaluation, the different policies which are related with the concerned activities and which will be exposing concerned project or concerned activities. So what is the use and why the policy is needed? So what is the benefit and advantages of the policies? We have to save the time and serving the precedents which are related with the concerned activities. And easily we can go for the organizing the aids which are related with the coordinations of the concerned product, concerned activities or concerned item or concerned statement or whatever it may be, or any institutions, and which will be provide the stability in the organizations. So because when you're going to frame the policy or when you're going to make the strategics, the in-depth strategics, or when you go for the plan or when you go for the statement which will be created by the concerned administrator, that should help for the save the time and stability of the concerned organizations, and how we may go for, and it will help to the managers and how the guide the subordinators, and how we can take the actions which are related with the concerned facilities or quick activities or accurate decision making which are related to the concerned activities. So because of we should be flexible which are related with the concerned activities, because of we should have the concerned policy and the as per the government norms according to the countries or state, whatever it may be. So when you go for that, when you're going to translate our objectives or aims, or when you're going to expose our activities which are related with it, and we should have that like schedule, like make it the infrastructure. So what are the priority and how we should go for the order, and which one is most important, on what is the emergency, and how we can go for the priority, aids, fund. So we have to allocate which are related that concerned activities development or institutional development. So because it is most important when you're going to frame the policy or when you're going to frame the protocol, we should follow the protocol and frame the policy, and which will be exposing at the international level, especially for the concerned institutions. And it will be very, very helpful for the decision making, which is based on the providing the concerned framework or a statement or guidelines. And we should go for, okay, this is okay, which based this much fund, okay, this much, this is a norms, this is a procedure. So accordingly, how we may go for the framing the norms and policy, and which will be run up in future without any difficult or any disturbance by the government or other people, other persons. So because we should follow the protocol and frame the policy. So because of most of the places you can see that the political interference. So political people should help for the policy framework, that is totally different. But politically, some of the institutions, some of the private institutions, or some of the organizations should be affected. So because it is most important for us, and which will be guiding for the right way and right track to find out our solutions or whatever it may be, any changes or promotion or development of the concerned institutions. So how to develop the policy and procedures? So first we have to identify who will take lead responsibility and gather the necessary information which are related to the concerned activities. So based on that, we have to make the trap to the policy, consult with the appropriate stakeholders who are the people, and finalize. And we should go for the approve the different the decision making policy, and consider whether processes are the required which will be needed for the implementations. So when you go for that, We have to find out, we have to identify what is the responsibility and who are the responsibility and which kind of the data we must be used for the concerned activities. And we may go for the trapped policy and consult with the concerned stakeholders, whether the people are accept or not, whether the people are comfortable or not, the people are appropriate with the concerned activities or not. And we should go for the final approval, whether it is effective or not, or what is the impact and what is the benefit. And all together we have to consider, then we may go for the implement without the disturbance of the other people, the government or private or individual person. So because of the policy, it is not that much easy to frame. That is most important, which are related to the concerned activities. Take for example, if we go for the education policy. So educational policy in India or throughout the world. So educational policy, which consists of the principles and the governing the policies, the different policies in the educational sphere, as well as the collection of the different laws which are related with the concerned government, state government, central government, and what is the state government system, and what is the central government operation educational system, how the state government and central government is going to form and develop the educations at the national level, at the state level, and what are the different forms. Take for example, you can see that the childhood educations, kindergarten up to the 12th standard, the 4-year, 3 years courses, the graduation, the professional educations, adult education, the job related training educations, the different kinds of the educations, how we should go for the perfection and how we should go for the development or promotions or job oriented courses, 3 years courses or 5-year courses. So how it will be helpful for the national development, economical development, and how it will be helpful for developing the school or colleges or institutional based, how it will be helpful for us to develop the educations. Therefore, the education policy can directly affect the education people, those who are engaged in all the ages. We can see that most of the people are saying that some of the schools that drop out, we can see the dropout, maybe the school, first standard, second standard, third standard. If you go to the villages, the different states in India, the dropout students, 2%, 3%, 5% yearly. So what is the reasons? Maybe the classroom size, the classroom is not enough, or the students are maybe more than the limitations, the irritation each others, the religious based, communal based, lower, higher, medium, the financial and economical based. The different structure will be affecting the school. Maybe most of the people, if we go to the private school or government school or different teacher training training colleges, you can see that different people are affecting in the different stream. Maybe I could see that before 5-10 years, I could see in India. So some of the students are drop out from the teacher training even, and B.Ed college also. So because of some of the background, it is not supporting for them. So the 100%, the enrollment must be needed for us in this modernized techno world. We don't allow drop out the student, college student or school student, whatever it may be. Our policy must be strong in education. So because of, if we go for the education system, in education policy analysis, we should be think scholarly and study the education policy. When you're going to frame the education policy, when you're going to promote the education policy, and when you are going to develop the educational policy, the scholarly people must be involved in that education policy. What are the changes, what are the promotion, what are the requirements, and how it will be effective for future development, students or national development, economical development. And we have to think about it in the different way. So because of the scholarly people must be study and take over the responsibility to analyze the different educational system in the different state, and what on which kind of the structure must be followed by the concerned state, based on the psychological, economical, sociological, and human development, and how they are giving the importance for the research scholar to develop the research or improve the research, and we how to think about the different department and which will be helpful to develop our educational system. If we go for agriculture development, and we can say the backbone of agriculture. In India, not only India, wherever go, agriculture is the backbone of India. It's a base of the human being. But how our structure is going on? Here in Ethiopia, they are giving the pure responsibility and respect and due respect for the agriculturist. Here still there is no fertilizer. There is no fertilizer. The wonderful soil, the fertilized, the very, very suitable soil, which is available in South Africa as well as in East Africa, and which will be promoting their basic life. And still, we are eating the pure, not chemicalized fertilizers. I think just before 6 months, I think from India, they have been introduced some of the places the fertilizers. It is originally the people are not accepting here in Ethiopia. The people are eating the very pure, the fresh, without chemicalized food here in Ethiopia. It is very small country. You can say it's the smallest country. So because of the population is equivalent to more or less the Tamil Nadu population, the whole country population in Ethiopia. But the agriculture, the structure, the health-wise, it is wonderful. So because of they are promoting in the different ways. So why? Because I'm talking about Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a populated, it is not that much populated country, but it is awareness having each and every people than us. Why? Because they are not wearing mask here in Ethiopia. Ethiopia, we are saying that it is a darkness continent, but the people are not wearing mask here in Ethiopia. When I'm going to enter the university, we people, Indian people are wearing the mask, but that people are not wearing the mask. Why? Because that much immunity power the people should have in their own life, the everyday life, when you're going to see that how the people are eating, the food condition, everything is very comfortable for them. So because of they are not thinking about anything, they are not using the mask, they are very casually, they are walking here and there without any disturbance. So because of the structure means even the agriculture or education or health care, that is somewhat perfect. So when the system is perfect, the system will work. We don't work. We don't want in the field if there is a system. So some of the countries or some of the places, there is a system, but the system will not work. The people will work. Yes, of course, the people will work, but which is based? The system based. That system is a policy. That policy, how it will be effective in education, how it is developing their education, how they are practiced in their life to promote more effective schools reforms by the eliminating important connections between the education policy and the teaching and learning practices. Each and every country having somewhat difference between one country to another country, that is totally different. There is a common principle, the common policy, and which will be helpful for promoting our educations and our background, which will be helpful for the future development. If you go for the education reform in the United States, but there is no that much education in United States, as we know that there is a technology based, technical based. But when you go for that, over the past 30 years, the policymakers have made a steady increase at the state and the federal level of the government in their involvement of US schools. So why? Because the base is most important. The United States, they spend most of their budget funding school, whereas only a small portion of the federal budget is allocated to the education. So when you go for that, the different policies, federal government, that means the central government or the state government, and which will be building on the state and the local education policies. So because of each and every state responsibility, and we have to give the free for the states to work freely to develop their educational, their structure, their financial, their economical background. We don't disturb, but we have to control, but we don't disturb to work by the federal or a state government. When you go for the national education policy, which were, I think, in 2020, our Prime Minister have been announced the new educational policy. So different people have been discussed in the different ways, based on the language, based on the state, based on the freedom, based on the forcible. So because etc., we have been discussed a lot which are related with the education policy, which has made by our Prime Minister on 2020. So because of, so a lot of issue happened, and how we can go for finally compromising the people, and what are the responsibility of the concerned people, and how the people will take over in future to develop their nation, as well as what are the responsibility for the education system. We are framing the different system, we are developing the different systems, policies, and what is the responsibility for the education system, especially I'm taking to this platform the education policy as well as the institutions. The teacher policy, the first we can consider that the responsibility, the teacher's policy. Teacher policy is the education policy, and which will be address the preparations, recruitment, and retention of the teachers in the right manners. A teacher policy is guided by the same overall vision and the essential characters of the wider education policy. It should be the strategic based, holistic based, feasibility, sustainability, and the context to the sensitivity. So why? Because in India only, we are not respecting the educated people. You can see wherever go, so near about, especially what I'm saying that in Ethiopia, it's a small country, more than 4,000 doctor holders are working in Ethiopia. More than 4,000 doctor holder professors are working in Ethiopia. So because of there is no employment, there is no respect for the educated people in India. So because of the other country people are using our resource, which is provided, which is scholarly provided by Indian government, that source will be utilized by other country. Why? Where is the mistake? Where is the missing policy? Where misguiding the people, misguiding the politician? So where we are doing the mistake? More than 4,000 doctor holder in the different subject. The people are working only in Ethiopia, means you can think about other countries. So because of all the sources created by Indian resource, Indian government, Indian scholarship, but India are not able to ready to utilize the same resource, but the same resource which will be used by other countries, they are developing very fastly, and they are going to meet out us maybe in education and other policy or activities. And you can see the different key dimensions which are related to the teacher recruitment and the retention and the teacher educations, and which will be helpful for the deployment and career structures, the different path of the teacher employment and working conditions, and which will be helpful for rewarding and remuneration of the teacher, and that should be very standardized educations and accountability maybe in the features, or maybe should be given by the government and motivating by the government to develop the teachers to increase the education level. The teacher recruitment and retentions, always we should know that how to develop and how to improve our education. So because of why we should conduct the recruitment and why we should be retention of the recruitment or teachers, wherever go in India, all the states, the teachers are on the road. The teachers nowadays, this is somewhat exception, that is leave it at the time of the COVID-19. So most of the teachers, I could see the many videos, BBC News and local news. I could see the many teachers, professors, engineering field teachers. They are selling the vegetables, fruits, biryani items, the food items. They are working on the road. So why? Because it is throughout the world, but even though it is compared to other countries, it's more in India. So because our structure, our system, our policy, our administrations, our dedication, our social activities, politician involvement, public expectations, somewhat, I don't know how to express. It is an individual base, not in the society based or country based. So what are the importance of the policy in the school educations ecosystem? So internal control, minimize the cost, build a learning culture, and safe learning environment, which are related with when you're going to setting the goals and establishing the productivity, and which will be helpful for improving our school, and we how to develop our goals, and we how to set up the feature, and how we can develop our equality and development of our education system, and which will be helpful for through the teachers. And you can see that the different institutions, different kinds of the institutions, structures are there in the different countries. But in generally, teaching is a teacher. There is no changes. Wherever go in the world, teaching is a teaching, teacher is a teacher. But the methodology may be differ one country to another country, one person to another person, one state to another state, but the concept is the same, the policy is the same. That policy will be reflected and the concerned way, and the which will be engaged in the exact policies that should be focused on the concerned training or teaching or profession, and which will be helpful to develop the institutions. And so who are the stakeholders involved in education, and how we can motivate the stakeholders on what they are expecting from the institutions, or what they are expecting from the concerned government, what they are expecting to develop their institutions or individual development. So whether it is the existing policy is very suitable for the concerned country or a state, accordingly we should proceed our action on concerned activities. So what are the major challenges? Challenges when you're going to implement the NEP 2020. Our Prime Minister have been announced, and we have been discussed a lot. And what are the challenges in the implementation of NEP 2020-21, which is based on the first one is a curriculum based, which are related to the content. Maybe the national educational, the new policy, new education policy in India, which has been introduced, maybe 10th, okay, 10th plus 2, 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, the structure, which is related to the childhood educations and will be part of the formal educations. So when you go for the NEP 2020, it is focused on reducing the curriculum content to make space for the critical thinking, and in turn develop individual with the 21st century skill, which will be developed in future. So because of the different pedagogical, we have been included in that activities. And the teachers availability and training, which is mentioned in the 2020 NEP, the policy envisages the redesigns of the school curriculum. The policy already it is existed, but they wanted to develop in order to deliver the curriculum effectively. Schools and the concerned authorities need to train teachers and understand the pedagogical needs to make a smooth transition to the new education system. The new education system is needed to the teachers and the training to the teachers. So how we can use the technology, what they are emphasized on leveraging the advantages of the technology in making the youth feature ready to use the development or modernized technology. So because of that is also included, and the examination structure. As we know that examination structure, which will be focusing on the formative assessment for learning rather than the summative assessment, which are related to the primary purpose of the changing different assessment system, which is to promote the continuous tracking of the learning outcomes. It is generally, everybody should know these structures. And what are the, how they are facing the public schools, the different challenges, public schools, that is most important nowadays. How the classroom size, how it will be. As we know that as per the norms, we are the different institutions having the different methodology and system and policy to accommodate the student. So we don't tell any institutions or anything is happening like this. Generally, any private institutions or as well as the public institutions, the government institution, the size of the classroom, how many students. You can see that, take for example, in children, USA, near about 22%, I think. Yeah, near about 22% of the children in USA, they are living below the poverty line. Children's. So how is it possible? The American Graduate defines the poverty as a family of 4 with an annual income level $23,050 or lower than that. One scholar is mentioning such kind of the poverty line, and which is in United States. And when you are coming to our national the new education policy, which will be helpful for that, the family factors. Maybe in a family, 3 children, 4 children means how the government will give the benefit for them. The free 2 children, 1 children, more than 5 children, 4 children, 3 children, 8 children, 10 children. So how the government will be admissible for the family factors, which will be affecting on the educations based on the different poverty lines, and how the people should go for the school on educations, and that should be happen more in village side. And we should give the more technology for the children's, and develop their student attitudes and behaviors which are related with the concerned student through the institutions. And the most important point, what they are saying that in EP, that no child left behind, which are related with the school or public educations, or that should not be focusing judgment of. So because of that, no one left from the school, no child. So 100% we must be enrolled. And what is a policy needed for the development of the nation? And as well as what is the role of the parent? How the parent must be involved to motivate the student. The 100% we are always expecting from the government. And what is the involvement of the parent, and how they are taking care of their kids, and how they are giving the health guidance for the child, and how they are motivating their child. So everything should be covered in NEP, and which will be helpful for the student or student health, and which will be helpful for the in future development. As well as what are the different issues for the state policy. So we can say that we must leave for all the responsibility, especially medical and education, for the state responsibility. Now, all the state chief ministers and responsibility and politicians, what they are asking, most of the people leave for the freedom to the state. So how we can leave the freedom when you're going to talk about the educations? The responsibility must be given to the state. The state should be know everything. How we can shape our people, the concerned state people, and how can give the education for them, but based on that central government guidelines, and which will not affect by the state people. So because of they how to give an additional motivation to the people to improve their certain educational outcomes. So why the people are always focusing the state, we can need the responsibility to the state government. We can take, for example, educational cost, information reporting system, increment, whether it is required or not, general education program funding, which are related with the teachers or teacher training, or whether we have to change over the process under the community participation, everything should know by the concerned state. So because of we should, I know that my people, so accordingly I can accommodate. So when you're going to develop, you can give certain time, certain period. Within the certain period, the state government should be focused on the concerned items: education, agriculture, industry, healthcare, child, women, entrepreneurs. So we have to develop certain period, and the state government or federal government should help and guidance to the state government to improve that. So because of easily we can develop the education, or education makers should have the realistic about the different potential which will be related with the concerned activities. And when if we go for that, the educational reforms, the new education program in the policy and 2020 having the inviting the private sector funding, a ramping up the higher educational infrastructure, greater focus on the improving teaching standard, expediting the digital infrastructure development, guidelines for the standardized content, and enforcing the common implementations plan. So how the 2020 will expose on education reform, the different funding we needed, especially the private sector. So when you're going to focus the private sector, automatically the government, the public sector is going down. When you're going to develop the private sector, private school, automatically the government is going down. So we can't be able to expose, we can't be able to balance the nation. So the nation is going to ups and down. We can't be able to move equality. So because of that is also major problem in new educational policy. That policy must be, whether it is a positive or negative, that is different. But that must be discussed in the platform, and which will be focusing the government of India, and which will be providing the secondary school level or a preschool or colleges or technical, the different system which will be helpful for focusing them educational institutions. And there's some positive activities also which are related to the NEP, which will be helpful for the developing the different structures and replacing the structure by 5+3+3+4 structure, and which will focus on the formative years of the learning of the student. And also, the structure, and you can see that July 29, 2000, our Modi ji, our Prime Minister, highlighted and addressed some points, some major highlights on July 29, which will be the launches the Vidya Pravesh, a 3-month play-based school preparations module for grade 1 student. Indian sign language is a subject at a secondary level. Next, you can see that the NCERT Nishta 2.0 is an integrated program of teacher training designed by NCERT, also launched by the Prime Minister. A website dedicated to artificial intelligence has been launched as well. The total SWAM enrollment 1.17 crores, which are related with the 1 lakh health workers trained. So competent based exam implemented in a based manners, which is based on the NCERT, and which the NCERT digitalized textbooks introduced from class 1 to 12. So why? Because which will be related with our NEP, whether it is focusing on education, on whether it is focusing on the modern technology, or whether it is focusing on the religious, whether it is focusing on the language, whether it is focusing on the communal. So because of NCR, it is accepted, which will be helpful or developing our nations. So why? Because there may be the digital, when you are going to, it is timing the digital education, online educations, webinars, that is totally different from normal. So it is mentioned in that NEP. So because of that is most of the people are commented, and the new education policy 2010 major challenges, it was the very tremendous, which will be very big, very large multidisciplinary activities, which will be having the more effective than the previous one. And you can see that, yeah. What is that? The new education policy 2020, the major changes. By 2030, one large multidisciplinary college in every district. By 2030, music, arts, and literature to be taught in all colleges. MPhil to be discontinued. Sanskrit will be mainstreamed. Vocational skills to be taught. No rigid separations between arts and science curriculum. Internships will be, maybe the internship will be included from classes 6. IIT to follow the holistic approaches. The academic bank of credit to be established. Importance to practical assignment and skill development. Single common entrance exam for all colleges. New system of education. So like this, the different policies, the different changes have been made in 2020, whether which is mingled or mixed policy or new policy. Please, we can think about that, and it is left for individual. And the education policy. So what is maybe there may be advantages and disadvantages. So we have to think about the advantages. So what is the advantages of the education policy? That policy, whether it is exposing or not in future. The government aims to make the schooling available to everyone with the help of NEP. According to the National Education Policy 2020, already what we are saying that 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, the structure will be replaced to existing 10 plus 2 structure. So whatever it may be, the structure is focusing on the student formative years of the learning, and which will be focusing the previous one, and which will be changing for the future development. That is also one of the benefit from the NEP, and which will be helpful for our academic activities. It is a lot of benefits are there. According to the National Education by 2010, an academic bank of credit will be established. One new ideas, and which will be focusing on national development, especially for the academic. And the academic to them, according to the national policy, again you can see the multidisciplinary educations and research universities, which will be related with IIT and based on the IIM, and it will be the different policy which will be helpful to develop the education in India. So disadvantages, somewhat we don't discuss about the disadvantages. What is the benefit? So a lot of benefits through the new education policy, and which will be helpful for the student and educational institutions. So then coming to them, improve our educational institutions, how we can improve our education system as well as the institutions. So different measurable ways which will be focusing our ecosystem, which will be helpful for the quality educations through the institutions. So maintained infrastructure, the most important for each and every institution, infrastructure. Nowadays you can see that 99% of the private colleges, there is no infrastructure. If you, especially for the engineering colleges, any tools if you have the tools in one colleges, that the another colleges should be followed the one college, and they will be go for the rental based. It is happening even around Chennai, other institutions also. So quality of the teaching and the teachers. So there is no quality. So because of the teachers can't able to expose, the teacher can't able to motivate. When we are going to motivate the teachers, automatically the quality will be exposures. When we are going to give the facilities for the teachers, automatically the teachers are going to give them quality to the student. So because of the quality of the teaching and teachers, how we are maintaining, how we are balancing in the institutions, as well as by the government, and the extracurricular activities. Even the extracurricular activities also one of the motivations, the most important tools to shape the student in the institutions or within the campus or out of the campus when the students are going from the college and college to college or inter-college, inter-universities, the different curricular, extracurricular activities also most important. That is most important, which will be provided by the institution to the student. The annual status of the educational report. Every year, each and every institutions must be based on the policy of the government or based on the policy of the state government or bylaw of the state government or central government, federal government, and these should be exposing the annual report. We are giving the education annual report. How many the results, the student results, percentage, everything must be in that statement. The need of the however, to addressing the gap in Indian education, the institutions find out, the private institution or government institution or private colleges or government colleges, whatever it may be, we have to find out the gap. So wherever we are missing and how we can expose and how we can fill that gap and we can give the quality education, then that institution, this institution, that student or this student, and internally we can motivate the student and expose the institutions. So in totally you can see that we can maintain the good infrastructure with the library, ground, infrastructure means the modern technology. Nowadays, there is no old teaching. Nowadays, the modern teaching, smart classes. There is no chalk and talk. There is no black and white. Nowadays, everything modernized. Even in this country, very modernized teaching is going on here. No one uses the blackboard. We are saying the our African continent is not developing, but they are receiving the different kind of funds from the different countries, different organizations. They are investing for their development. Here in Ethiopia also the same thing. We are working under UNDP, United Nations Development Program. India also one of the member. So because of they are recruiting from India, so because of India is the educational industry, because of they are coming to recruit here and they are giving opportunity, and we people are working here in Ethiopia. So why? Because this structure totally different from Indian structure. Here there is no disturbance, there is no work stress, there is no force. They are living with us. That assignment, the teacher must be completed over. They are allocating the subject. They are find out the student. They are connecting the student, and we are following the student. Student following the teacher is over. The first day they are introducing. The last day we are meeting again the head of the department, dean, registrar. We have to conduct any kind. We have to conduct the teaching. We have to conduct any test, any assessment or final exam. Also we have to conduct, and simply we can sit and submit the mark in online. It is over. There is no work pressure. They are not following. They are not following the teacher. They are not forcing to the teacher. The teacher will work with a fresh mind. There is a lot of time to recharge with the teacher. There is a lot of time to prepare the research. So because of there is no tension, there is no unnecessary activities, there is no force, especially. You can see that I worked in many places, many states in India. It's like industries. It is not education. Education must be different from others. Education must be different from others. It is not like industries. Education, purely they are working as a education, because of the teachers are having more free mind. Whenever they are having free mind, they are simply sitting and preparing the material, distributing, teaching, conducting examination is over. They are working very genuinely without any disturbance. Simply they are working. Even the very big, we are thinking, even any conference or international conference or national conference, any workshop, they are very casually they are organizing. When you are compared to India, maybe you can like me, I am forcing here and there, we are nothing happened. The people simply they are conducting the program will be completed successfully. So why? Because the totally that structure is different from India. They are following the Oxford University curriculum. They are using the Indian teacher. They are following Oxford University curriculum. So because of the curriculum also, the curriculum itself, it's a wonderful. Because of what I told this, if there is a system, the system will work. I don't work. I cannot work. I don't want hard work. The smart work is enough. So because of the educational institution must be provide the wonderful quality infrastructure to the teacher as well as the student, then easily our nation, our country, our state is going to expose at international level, and we can compete in different ways at the international level. So what is the higher studies? In India, what are the types of the education, the higher education institutions? Central universities, state universities, institute of national level importance, deemed to be universities, and affiliated colleges and autonomous colleges. This is a structure in India. Whereas if you go to the higher education institution in Poland, you can see that one example I took from the Poland, the port. You can see that universities, technical higher education institution, agriculture higher education institutions, higher education institutions specializing in the different economic, science and schools of economics, pedagogical higher education institutions, medical universities, higher education institutes of maritime studies, specialization in the maritime study, and different academics of the physical educations, higher educations of the arts and study, any specialization in any fine arts like that, theological in higher education studies, in different higher education methods in Poland. And you can see that here in Africa, South Africa, you can see that there is a higher education institutions which is based on the college, technical and universities. East Africa, South Africa, most probably the African continent, you can see that there is a major two structures. The types are there: college level, technical college level. That means we can say that a diploma like that, and university. Three major concepts which are related to that, and which will be focusing the private and public colleges, institution. It is very common, and you can see that the when you are coming to again, when you are coming to our different structure which are related with the NEP. Again, NEP, you can see that our structure totally different from Ethiopia as well as South Africa, East Africa, and Poland, some even USA, some of the countries, Germany, the Frankfurt universities, you can see that the totally different structures are there. So how such kind of the structure which will be modified or which will be followed by India, or for the Indian structure should be followed by other countries, how they are mingling, and how we should know, and we should have somewhat difference between one institution, one college, or one country, or one state like that. So because of the NEP is needed to develop us. So whereas if we go to other countries, there is no frequent policy development. Policy means it is based pure higher education, mean higher education will be decided everything. Who are the stakeholders, and whether we can implement or not, whether it is a smooth way, whether it is a uniformity, and they should feel everything, and they are going to complete successfully, and they are introducing. So how to successfully implement the NEP, which will be helpful for us based on our NVP. And when you're going to formulate the different the instruments in the form of the legal, policy, regulatory, and the institutional mechanism, that mechanism very compatible to institutions as well as a student. We should follow that mechanism, and which will be build up the reliable informations, the responsibility by the institutions through the NEP to improve the student and the quality of the educations, as well as develop the adaptability across the higher education institution, the regulatory bodies, and the government agencies. So automatically we can success our NEP, as well as you can develop the credibility through the transparent actions which will be taken, the different participations, and develop the sound principles of the management, the healthy. The principle must be perfect when you are going to implement any kind of the policy. Because of very first I told that the policy must be perfect, and the policy must be supporting to take the decision, and which will be framing for the new policy or new action or new activities. And another, you can see that the initiative taken by the central government to improve the technical standard in India. They are following the 15 initiative. They have taken the 50 initiative by the HRD minister. Based on that, the subject-wise learning, national achievement survey, minimum qualification of teachers, B.Ed degree structure changes, the quality educations, quality in educations, international exposures, cultural festivals, grading system, integrated idea, e-learning material for the teachers and the student, innovation in classroom study, interactive content for the student, massive open online course, MOOC, and education channel. All the 15 have been taken, initiated by our government, the central government, to improve the teaching standard in our country. So what are the major contributors to failure, the policy failure? Most of the countries, most of the state, or most of the people are going to failure. Why? So what is the problem? The first one is, you can see that overall optimistic expectations. Due to the over optimization, there is under the estimation of the cost and the timing for the policy to be implemented, and the over expectations. And the second one is implementation in dispersed governance. The third one is inadequate collaborative policy making. And fourth one is vagaries of the political cycle. The policy makers concentrate on the short-term result, as they don't want to be tagged for the failure, and take credit of the legislation that is passed rather than it is implementations. So why? Because the lot of failures in the different implementations or policy because of the overconfidence, the over expectations. So what are the efforts to transform an India in some idea to practice? So developing political consensus for clear goals related to educational attainment, as well as the mechanism to monitor and publicly report on those goals. The second one is state appropriations for the higher education. The third one, the delegation of the tuition setting authority to institutions, make equity a top priority, and inadequate need-based financial aid in most states reduced the purchasing power of financial aid program as higher education tuition increased. Work on all areas of the performance simultaneously. Focus on powerful incentives built into the state budget and link all finance policies. Create clear pathways to certificates and degrees. Match educational institutions and provide with regional educational needs. and which are related with the how state policy influence performance. You can see that some effort to use finance policy to increase educational opportunity and the attainment of the attainment which are related with the consent, the how the state use incentives to fund institutions and improve the productivity, how the state established the tuition fees and policies and aids related, and the how state structure either financial aid or policies which are related to the concern influence performance and which will be effective. So whatever it may be, the higher education performance must be taken the state government. When you're going to take over the responsibility by the state government, and automatically and easily we should improve our education system compared to other countries or compared to other state, and whatever it may be, how we are accommodate, how the concerned state is committed in the concerned people, how to develop in different ways in around. So because of that is most important, because I have seen the different state even in these countries, the African, South Africa, and the East Africa, they are working very perfectly. So because of they are following our structure also, but we are failing some of the places. I don't know that. There is a guidelines must be given by the federal government, central government. Here we can say the federal government, that the central government must be given the guidelines, but the state government must be taken all the responsibility to distribute our people. I know that my people, I know my education, I know my language. So how we can prepare and how we can participate and how we can go for the completion of the concerned project, and how we can affordability we can work which are related to the concerned activities or any kind of the product. So because of the state government must be taken over all the responsibility which are related to the education, healthcare, as well as agriculture. So if we go for that education, health and agriculture, definitely India should become a developing country. Otherwise, the India should not become a developing country. Even a smallest country, Ethiopia, it is under the developing country, in the list of developing country, but we are away from that. India removed from developing country, the list of developing country. So why? Because it's a lot of political issues. The lot of the policies is not that much effective for the political people. Even the political people not ready to follow the policies, protocol. There is no policy for the politician. There is no qualification for the politician. So why? Because the doctors are working under the politician. The professors are working under the politician, but they don't have the qualifications. You can see that the NEP, the new education policy 2020, who have been prepared, is one of the member of that new education policy. His degree, MBA degree is a fake. So how the education policy is going to affect? So because of policy is effective, but the people are not that much comfortable. The people are not raising up the question. The people are not away from the government. We are away from the government. We are not along with the government. We are afraid from the government. We are afraid about our politician, our leader. So because of we can't be able to raise up the question. So people what they are thinking, our minister, our politician, our MLA, what they are thinking, what they are doing, that is right. So because of the education, wherever go, it is going under the business. As per our legislation, education is a service. But nowadays, education is a business. Those who are in Indian structure, you can see that those who don't have education, the people should have the educational institution. Those who don't have education, that people should have the educational institutions. How they should feel about the teachers feeling, how they should feel about the others, the public feeling. But we are working under the illiterate people. Doctor, professors in India, only in India, we are working under the illiterate people. So how the illiterate people should focus on education, how they should know the educational feeling, how they should know the teacher's feeling, how they should know the academic feeling, how they should know academician feeling. They don't know signature, but they are having 4 institutions. There is no signature. There is no signature by him. But they are having 4 institutions in Chennai, around Chennai. The different kinds of doctors are working in the institutions. Whatever they are suggesting, we people are accepting. So because of the policy, where is the policy nowadays? Same like the politician. There is no qualification. Who is controlling the whole nation? Who is controlling the whole state? They don't have education. But we are simply teaching, but we should have the education. We must be passed the NEET. We must be need the JET, the different competitive examination. But those who are ruling the nation, they don't want education. They no need education. How the policy is workable? This policy is not for them. It is only for the teacher. The policy only for the teacher. The policy is not for the politician. The policy is not for the prime minister. The policy is not for our chief minister. The policy is not for our president. So because of policy means it is a activities, it is a protocol. That protocol must be needed for all the people. When you are going to talk about any kind of activities or any kind of the educational activities, higher education activities or higher education performance, whatever it may be, the policy must be focusing with all the people. Then only we can go for the higher level. Otherwise, today you can write each and everyone as a professor. We could not be able to become as a developing country in our life. Because of the religious, because of the casteism, because of the no respecting the teachers, no respecting the doctors and the resources. So definitely we can't able to become as a developing country, at least a developing country. So because of what we can do, which kind of the step we have to take over for developing our nation, improving our culture, improving our holistic culture, and how we can take over our higher education. So because of the policy means it is for the statement, the protocol. That protocol must be followed for each and every human being in the world, not only in India. Then only we can develop the institutions, quality education, the qualified people. Then the India automatically is rising up and will become as a developing country. So because of when you go for any country, please you can visit any country in the world. So what is the difference between India and that country? The most of the country people followed our Indian culture. So Indian culture, Indian dress, Indian people, so very knowledgeable people, very perfect qualification. India is a educational industries. We are salute for Indians. But we are failure in the economic development. And what is our GDP today? And what is the GDP before 2013-14 in India? So what is the today GDP and how we are following the economical policy, and they don't know how to. I don't want to expose, I don't want to go that side. So I don't know that how we can improve our nation. Finally, I don't want to eat onion. So because I don't bother about, I don't want to eat garlic because I don't bother about that. The finance minister saying like that. So how we can improve? How we can improve the economical background? How we can improve the GDP and per capita income in our country? So because of, so each and every human being, every professor, every teachers, every doctor holders, and we should take over the further step to improve our country GDP, and we should follow the policy, especially the educational policy to develop our nation. So most of the people, everybody, professors are joining in this platform. Everybody should know that our Indian culture, Indian condition, Indian academic, everybody should know that I am not new to Indian teaching or discussing in this policy. Everybody should know in the textbook, internet, it's available throughout the world, nothing problem. But where we are, we must be realized. What is the first, the policy must be changed for the politician who will be contest in MLA, MP, and Prime Minister. So what is the qualifications? Why you are expecting qualification only from the teacher? Doctor, MPhil must be is there, and you can meet that NAC. We are expecting from the only the teachers. Why? So because of teacher is the pillar of the nation. So others, they are not a pillar of the nation. But you yourself, we ourselves, we are realizing, we are expecting the qualification from the teacher means we are the qualified person. But the qualified person not utilized in the nation. The qualified person, the resource will be used by other country people. They are developing themselves. Even America, near about 24.5% youngster that engineering students are working in America, especially South India, especially the Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka. Near about 24.5% dynamic people are working in America. For whom? For India? Nothing. They are working for their life, survive their life. But the America is going to develop. Again, I am saying that near about 4,000 professors are working in Ethiopia. Why? Why you are failure to provide the employment for all 4,000 people? Near about age is more than 50. More than 50 experienced people are here. Experienced people, qualified people are here. So
sorry to interrupt, sir.
Where we are failure? And where is the
Chiraya, sir,
policy?
sorry to interrupt.
How the policy is going to workable? How the policy is very helpful for us, and who will be taken over to develop our country and will take up our country in the developing country or in the list of the at least the developing. We don't know that. Everybody are talking, politicians are talking, teachers are talking, owners are talking, businessmen are talking, everybody talking like this international conference everywhere. But what is the use and where is the use and what is the impact?
Am I audible? Sorry to interrupt, sir.
So because of my dear friends, my dear colleagues, my dear professors, please we can think about that and who will frame and who will shape the nation. And how will become as at least a developing country. Leave it the different policies. Based on the policies, we should become as this professors, doctors like this. It's an individual development. If there is a individual development, must be developed India. There is a GDP, must be developed India. Now, where is a GDP and who have done? And I can't able to talk about the individual person. Our people, we have done. So because of why? Because I am talking about this issue. Many near about 53 conference I attended. Everywhere we are talking, but there is no exposures. There is no impact. But who will take over this? So because of the responsibility, who are the responsibility? Politician is a responsibility. Government employee is not a responsibility. Politician is a responsibility. So because a politician giving the wrong direction to the government employee,
Yes, sir,
so because of the
audible,
the politician must have the qualification to become as a MB, MLA, and Prime Minister. Then everything will be perfect and everything over. I think how the leader is being, and we should be followed that. What is the leadership capacity and quality of our nation, our state, our people, then automatically everything become perfect. And education, agriculture, industries, the different functional activities should be based on the policies and which will be helpful for more effective than other country. Really, I am very happy to share my feelings and other NEP related And really, I'm very happy to share all the people. Thank you very much for this an opportunity. Thank you very much, one and all again. Thank you.
Thank you very much for wonderful and knowledgeable session, sir. It was really incredible.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now I request our beloved Shri W.D. Ashok sir, Honorary Trustee, Shesharupuram Educational Trust, to give the presidential remarks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you. This wonderful session from Sheshadripuram Institute of Commerce and Management from the IQAC for the international level FDP which was conducted. I would like to thank the resource person Dr. Chennaiah, and also today's topic, that is implementation of policies at higher education institutions, an effort to transform an idea into practice. Doctor has said very much about the changes which has to be brought about and how to see the country coming up and how you can improve. So it is basically everyone's need of the hour, that is to bring up and give the more to the country. Just it is always said that it is not ask what country gives us, it is what you can give it to the country. It should be. So in that attitude, if everybody works, then it will be a wonderful country and we can hope for a better country at the same time. So just to come to a particular session which is going with the implementation now at the current situation, I would rather say that many of the things are changing up, and as teachers or lecturers or any participants who are in the field of education must be aware of the things which are going to be changed. And for example, we were having the things of degrees like bachelor's, then a bachelor person would be going for master's, and after master's they would have done MPhil, and after MPhil they would have done PhD. But changes, now you can just say MPhil will never be accepted in the coming days. So you can just say that you will have a shorter version of bachelor's, master's and PhD coming up, and MPhil will be no more accepted in our way of thinking. So at the same time, I would like to say that even from the student's point of view, the changes which are happening also is very convenient for the student, which is being brought about. That is, from the 3 years of the degree, as you are aware, the 4-year degree courses will be coming up, and the student has very much flexibility in the new way of education policy. So you can just expect that the first year, if the student is conducting himself for the admission, he will be getting a certification program, and once he is completing the second year, he has an advanced diploma. In the third year, if he is completing, he has a bachelor degree, and if he is completing the fourth year, he has a bachelor with the research program. So he has a very good advantage, and the full focus is to see that more students or more population comes to higher education, and more of them take up this higher education program. Even if they are missing it in 1 year, they can join the college at any moment of time. They can withdraw it if they have any problem, and they can join the college at a later course, a year or 2 years after. They can come back, complete their course, and they are very much in advantage using this NEP at this current moment. The second point is the academic bank which will be created. So no more the certifications will be there. It will be all credit based system. So you can just think about affiliating colleges will no more be there. So it will be only autonomous type of degrees, multidisciplinary degrees granting institutes will be working. So you can just see the accreditations which are necessary for the staff or the institutes which will be there. We can just say that nobody will be affiliating, will not be in the under any university itself. All the institutions will be themselves an autonomous body where degrees will be multidisciplinary. So you will have to upgrade to whatever the extent possible to meet these challenges. Then also coming to the research, as professor was telling, that is vocational training, outcome based education, that is institutional autonomy and own certification or curriculum will have to be provided from the institution itself. So very much to say that whatever the NAAC basement policies have been created, it's all just to say that your standards come up to the mark to say that you will be autonomous institute in the coming days. So whatever the criteria you are following, so basically, for example, 7 criteria were there in your NAAC: the curriculum, the teaching learning process, the research innovation, and infrastructure and learning practices, student support systems, governance and management, institutional values and best practices. All these have been already known to you. And in individual colleges, I think each one of the HODs or the breakup will be done in the NAAC committees, and they would have given to different teaching staff, and the teaching staff would have taken up the further breakages, and all the staff involvement is very much necessary to see that all the upgradation of individual criterias are given to an institute. The same thing which was said by Dr. Chinnaya, that is, once everyone and is brought together, the strength of the institute comes up. So all criteria, once it is coming up to date, then the institutes, whatever the idea or logic has to be done for the NAAC preparation will be updated at the same time. So also the accreditation boards, for example, you have the NAAC accreditation boards or the AICT boards or the universities. Within another 10 years, all this will not be there at all, because once you are autonomous, you will be under the government itself, under the scanners. Even the NAAC committee will not be there, or the AICT will not be there. So all these institutes which are accrediting will no more will be there, and you will be directly under the autonomous status. So you will have much more autonomous to frame your own curriculum, frame your own exams, give your certification courses. So in the long run, now you can just see that the 2 types of institutions survives. Research oriented institutions certificate will be the one institute which survives, and the other one will be only the certificate providing institutes. Only these 2 type of institutes will be survived. And on the large, Dr. Chinnaya said about the distribution of work and how the staff has to see in the coming days, because it's not only the syllabus completion or how you are completing the syllabus, it will all be outcome of the institute. That is, depends on the student's outcome, how the student has been completing his degree, how he is being placed. All this will be very important in the coming days. And also cognitive strategies have to be there in place. In this type, the learner uses the personal strategies to think, organizes, learns, and his behavior of students along with the staff will be very much put into importance at the same time. In our institutes, on the long run, you have seen that all our institutions, all the staffs were paid during the pandemic. I just want to bring it to the notice of the Dr. Chinnaya that all the staffs, even in the pandemic in the year 2020 until date, all have been paid, and nobody is left out. Even the non-teaching staff or the teaching staff have been very cooperative with it, and I'm very happy. And from the government point of view also, I just want to say that in the NEP 2020 gives trust or more preference to the research and development. There is no better place than Karnataka, they have said, in the R&D sector, and there are more than 180 internationally acclaimed R&D centers in the state. Envisaging the synergy between the educational institute and the R&D centers, where MOUs have to be created between the institute and the industry to bring about more focus on research and process of development has to be seen. The government will involve the R&D policies also at the same time. Digitalization plays a crucial role in education today, apart from business and governance, and the government will bring about the digitalization policy to enhance network connectivity in each village and to see a better perspective for students or any public person who is involved in digitalization. Just to brief up with Dr. Chinnaya's points of view, he has given all the policies involved in an educational institute, higher education, and he has given the learning culture of in Africa, how it is being compared with India, and also how the technology in India is going fast. At the same time, how the SWAYAM platform has given the enrollment, and he has also said that vocational training, skill-based training development is necessary. And also at the same time, I just want to focus that in our particular state also, skill development for the students is also being provided from the government, and everyone as a student who is involved must actually take up this participation, which is free from the government. So even in many of our institutes, Tumkur, Mysore or Magdi Road, this is already in function, skill-based development programs from the government, which is being given freely, and many are being enrolled at the same time. And also Principal Shivanavar also is working through this skill development programs, and I think in the future it will be also accommodated in the SICM, Sheshadripuram Institute of Commerce and Management. With this, I would like to thank Vidya Shivanavar and also Dr. Chennaya, Suresh sir, coordinator, and Shilpa madam, who has coordinated in the program, and all the staff of SICM and all staff of Sheshadripuram who have wonderfully come up with this platform, and from the past days also they are doing a wonderful program, and that I would like to thank one and all who have participated in this program. Thank you one and all.
Thank you very much for your wonderful and valuable speech, sir. Now it's time to say hearty thanks for one and all present here. I express our sincere gratitude to the resource person of today's session, Professor Dr. Chinnaya Anbalagan, sir. Sir, on behalf of Sheshadripuram Educational Trust and Sheshadripuram Institute of Commerce and Management, I extend a warm and heartfelt thanks to you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I would like to extend heartfelt thanks to Shri W.D. Ashok, sir, Honorary Trustee, Sheshadripuram Educational Trust, for presiding over the session and gracing the occasion. Sir, thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor.
I thank our beloved principal, Professor Vidya Shivananavar madam, for her support and guidance throughout the program. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
And I thank all the participants from different institutions, our faculties and non-teaching staff who are instrumental in conducting today's event successfully, for their cooperation, presence, and support. Finally, I thank the organizers for bringing this wonderful program and conducting this event very successfully. Thank you all. I wish you all good health and success. With this, we conclude today's session. Thank you all once again.
Thank you, sir.
And dear participant, feedback link is already shared in the chat box. Kindly do fill and to get the e-certificates. Thank you all.